One of the common cause of failure, why people don't listen to leaders, why people don't listen to their team managers or people leaders, is that they don't listen to their people. Today I'm going to talk about 3 points where a leader has to be very competent, which a leader need to learn the very first time when he become a leader before learning anything else. I have personally faced this particular problem in my life. When I became a leader, I got coached by my mentors. Few things I learned only from experience when I was bogged down, when I was actually beaten by the situation that I faced in my life. So the number one problem when you become a leader is that you are not a good listener. There is a reason why God has given 2 ears to us and only 1 mouth. The reason is just that you have to be a great listener. The major part of your communication is listening. If you don't listen, if you're not an effective listener, that means you don't have patience to help people. When you listen and give the fullness of attention to someone or your team member or someone who follow you, that means you're giving the respect. That means you're giving respect to him. Now, I can tell you one incident. It has happened with me a couple of times. There was a person who made a mistake, and I simply went on and gave the feedback, and he did listen to me, but he did not improve. Results did not improve, and I kept on thinking what actually has happened. And the only thing which happened, which I got to know a month later, is that I kept on giving my feedback, I kept on imposing my opinion, giving the perspective, but I did not listen to that guy. I did not listen to what actually he wanted to say and what was the exact reason he was not able to perform. Later on, when I had an offline communication with him, he happened to tell me that there was something going on in his family which was causing a lot of stress to him, and that was the reason he was not able to deliver and provide an optimum performance. And I was deeply impacted by listening to his agony and his story, and I thought to myself that whatever I had said last month to him and the way I have treated him, I could have been a little better to him. So this should not be the case with you. That is the reason I'm telling you that whenever somebody is not able to give the performance that you as a leader desire, that means there is something going on in his life. Apart from the professional issues, you got to be a great listener. So secondly, what we basically do is at times we make a perception of people and we don't want to change them. So a person can make a mistake, a person can repeat that mistake as well, but that doesn't mean you form an image for that particular person. But that doesn't mean that the person cannot improve, that person cannot deliver what you want. So you don't have to assume things, you don't have to, presume things in your mind and make an image of that person that he is non-productive or he's unproductive. What I would really suggest you is that you go ahead and speak to that individual. Try to understand the context first. Without understanding the other person's context, you don't speak, you don't give your own opinion. Because if you understand the context fully, if you understand what he or she wants to say to you, then only you will be able to provide your resolution. Otherwise, you may not be able to give the effective resolution. I can very well relate this to myself. I would often go ahead and give a negative feedback in front of everyone, try to mock everyone, and I used to think proud that if I'll mock a person in front of everyone, it will bring out best in them. But I was wrong. I miserably failed at times. And I only learned when my mentor coached me that it is not actually very relevant to talk about someone's mistake and negativity in front of everyone. And it is very evident if you do so, that person will get discouraged, that person will get demoralized, and that person will definitely not perform no matter what you do. There are very less number of people in the world who take criticism as a positive energy, who take criticism as a challenge and they try to come out as an improved version of their self. But there are over 90% of the people who will never perform, who will never accept criticism as a challenge. They will accept criticism as something negative, as an energy, and that will, eat their soul inside, and they will not be able to give their optimum performance. So always remember to provide a positive feedback in front of everyone publicly to make that experience memorable for lifetime, and ensure to give a negative feedback privately as securely as possible so that it lands well in the other person's mind and he will become more productive. If the negative feedback that you provided privately does not lead to a great performance by that particular person, that means you have not effectively coached or provided the feedback. So I hope you loved these 3 points. You got to be a great listener. You got to ensure that you don't assume things, and you got to make sure when you give the feedback, if it is positive, make it memorable, and if it is negative, make it memorable as well, because you want to give that feedback in such a way so that he would remember the negative feedback as good as he would remember that positive feedback. I do have certain memories when my mentors provided me the negative as well as the positive feedback, and I can never forget them. So in case if you have any addition, you would like to add more things on how to drive performance out of individuals just by effectively listening to them or by any other means, please drop those feedback in the comment section. I would love to hear them. So this is your friend Tausif Hasan signing off until we meet again. Goodbye.